all the qualifiers apply here. With Donald Trump and personnel decisions, you never actually know exactly what's going on. But we are being told that Kash Patel, the FBI director, is on increasingly thin ice and
considered for removal in order to prove that that Donald Trump does not have any chaos on his team or in his cabinet, has come out and said, no, of course not. I'm not considering anything. Let me play the president a little bit earlier today talking about Kash Patel during the Turkey pardon.
Trump's own FBI director, Kash Patel, was forced before a grand jury with immunity, meaning he had to choose between lying under oath and going to prison for perjury or telling the truth and destroying Trump. And when cornered like that, even the most loyal soldier starts talking. Here is what most people have no idea about. Kash Patel took the Fifth Amendment not once, but twice before a grand jury that was investigating Trump's stolen classified documents. He refused to answer questions because answering truthfully would have meant confessing to crimes. That is what the Fifth Amendment is for.
I want to ask you about the Epstein files. Have you seen the Epstein files?
I have not reviewed the entirety of it myself, but a good amount.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that Mr. Epstein trafficked young women, including, in some instances, minors, for sex to himself?
That was specifically the allegations in the 2018 indictment in the Southern District of New York.
It is a shield for people who would otherwise incriminate themselves, but prosecutors saw that and they understood exactly what it meant. It meant Patel had exposure. It meant he knew things that could hurt him legally, so they gave him immunity. They forced him to testify, and whatever came out of his mouth in that testimony, whatever dark secrets he confessed to, whatever admissions he made, it is all sitting right now in Jack Smith's sealed report. Senate Democrats are demanding access to that report. They are saying the public has a right to know what Patel admitted, what he confessed to, and what evidence exists that could prove both he and Trump broke the law. And if that report gets released, if those secrets finally see the light of day, Kash Patel is not just losing his job as FBI director, he is facing prison time.
Director Kash Patel may be out of a job in the coming months. 3 people with knowledge of the situation say President Trump and his top aides have grown tired of Patel and the unflattering headlines he's been generating recently, including using a government jet to visit his girlfriend.
So, let me walk you through exactly what happened here. Kash Patel, Trump's hand-picked FBI director, is at the center of multiple major investigations. The classified documents case, the Epstein files, the January 6th pardons, the FBI purges, all of it flows through him. And back when Jack Smith was investigating Trump's handling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, he called Patel to testify before a grand jury.
Now to FBI Director Kash Patel, who has fired at least 6 agents tied to the 2022 search of President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate. That's what 6 people familiar with the matter tell NBC News. But 3 of those sources say at least 10 employees were ultimately dismissed. As you may recall, the FBI search was connected to the federal investigation into President Trump's handling of classified documents after he left the White House in 2021. He had pleaded not guilty and denied any wrongdoing. That case was ultimately dismissed by a judge who was appointed by President Trump.
He invoked it twice, and prosecutors knew exactly what that meant. It meant Patel had something to hide. It meant he had knowledge of criminal activity. So they gave him immunity, limited immunity. The deal works like this. You have to testify. You have to tell the truth. But we will not use your own words to prosecute you. We will use them to prosecute someone else. And in this case, that someone else was Donald Trump. Whatever Patel said in that testimony is reportedly explosive.
Sir.
Did I have discussions with the White House to remove FBI personnel?
Yes.
No.
So you're saying that you had no discussions with the White House before you were in the position about the removal of any personnel from the agency?
As I was preparing for my confirmation hearing, I had numerous discussions involving the type of people that would be employed, and that those that were failing to meet the mark at the FBI would no longer be employed if I were confirmed.
And I'm assuming that mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration.
No, you're wrong.
Okay.
We know this because Senate Democrats are fighting tooth and nail to get access to it. Senators Adam Schiff and Dick Durbin sent a formal letter requesting Volume 2 of Jack Smith's classified documents report, the specific part that deals with Kash Patel. And in that letter, they said something very telling. They said the report contains key information and evidence pertaining to the nomination of Kash Patel as director of the FBI. They said Smith's findings on Patel's testimony and activities are essential to assessing his truthfulness, trustworthiness, and regard for the protection of classified information. Let me translate that for you. What they are saying is that Patel said things under oath that directly contradict what he has been saying in public, things that show he lied, things that prove he knew Trump's classified documents defense was false.
At your confirmation hearing in January, you said under oath, and I quote, "There will be no politicization at the FBI. There will be no retributive actions taken by the FBI should I be confirmed." Has the FBI ever been sued by somebody who felt that they were terminated based on case assignments?
In the entire history of the FBI, I'm sure they have.
No, since your tenure.
I'm sure there's ongoing litigation.
Senate Democrats want that information made public because if Patel's immunity testimony destroys Trump's story, if it proves Trump never actually followed formal declassification procedures, if it shows Patel helped build a false defense, then both of them are in massive legal trouble. And it is not just the immunity testimony. There are also sworn statements from former FBI agents in civil lawsuits. Agents who were fired or forced out during Patel's purges have testified under oath that Patel privately admitted certain actions violated FBI policies, that he knew some of the firings were probably illegal, that he knew he could get sued, but he did them anyway because the White House wanted it done, because Trump wanted it. Patel followed orders even when he knew those orders were illegal. And now those admissions, those private confessions, are in sworn statements, in court documents. If prosecutors want to use them, if they decide to charge Patel with abuse of power or obstruction, those statements become evidence that Patel knew what he was doing was wrong and did it anyway. So what exactly did Patel admit under immunity? What is sitting in that sealed report, and how close are he and Trump to facing criminal charges based on Patel's own words? This is not speculation. This is a federal prosecutor granting immunity because they needed Patel's testimony to build a case against someone bigger. This is Senate Democrats saying there is damaging material locked in a report they are desperate to see. And these are sworn statements where Patel admitted to illegal conduct. All the pieces are there, all pointing toward prison for Patel and for Trump. Let me explain what immunity actually means because a lot of people do not understand this. When prosecutors give someone immunity, it is not a favor, it is not a gift, it is a tool. And they only use it when they believe the person has information that could incriminate someone else, usually someone bigger, someone more important, in this case, Trump. So when Kash Patel appeared before a grand jury and took the fifth, prosecutors knew he had damaging information that could help prove Trump committed crimes. But Patel would not talk because talking could incriminate him too. So prosecutors made a deal. We will give you immunity. We will not use your words against you, but you have to testify. You have to tell the truth. And if you lie, immunity does not protect you from perjury charges. So talk. And Patel talked. He testified about Trump's handling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, about what Trump told him regarding declassification, about what Patel knew and when he knew it. Here is why that matters so much. Patel had been publicly claiming that Trump declassified whole sets of materials before leaving office, that it was all legal, that Trump had the authority to take those documents. That has been Trump's defense all along. He declassified everything, so there is no crime. But prosecutors did not believe it. They thought Patel's story was unsubstantiated, potentially false, and they wanted him under oath, forced to tell the truth to see if his testimony matched his public statements. Based on what we know, it did not match. Because if it had matched, Senate Democrats would not be demanding access to that testimony. They would not be saying it contains key information that contradicts Patel's public claims. Here is what makes this so damaging. If Patel testified under immunity that Trump never actually followed formal declassification procedures, if he admitted Trump's claims about declassifying documents were false, if he said Trump knew he was not supposed to take those materials, then Patel just destroyed Trump's entire defense. Trump's whole argument is that he declassified everything, that it was legal, that he had the authority. But if his own man, the person who was supposed to back up that story, admits under oath it is not true, then what is left? Nothing. Trump gets caught lying. And the classified documents case, which Jack Smith already said had proof beyond a reasonable doubt, gets even stronger because now you have Trump's own insider admitting the defense is false. Patel's exposure does not stop there. Senate Democrats are specifically demanding Volume 2 of Jack Smith's report, the classified documents volume, the part that deals with Patel's testimony and activities. In their letter, Senators Schiff and Durbin said the report contains evidence about Patel's truthfulness, trustworthiness, and regard for the protection of classified information. That is not neutral language. That is saying we believe Patel lied. We think he mishandled classified material. We think he helped Trump build a false defense, and we want the evidence that proves it. If that evidence exists, if Jack Smith documented Patel giving conflicting stories, one to the media, another to the grand jury, another to Congress, then Patel is not just losing his job as FBI director. He is facing potential perjury charges, obstruction charges, and charges for lying to investigators. And it gets worse because Patel has also been questioned under oath about the Epstein files. He has testified before Congress about FBI handling of Epstein-related documents, about redactions, about missing records, about why certain files have not been released. Democrats have been relentless. They have accused him of running an elite protection operation, of shielding powerful men while exposing victims, of following Trump's orders to cover up evidence. Patel has denied it all. He said the accusations are false, that he is following the law, that everything is being handled properly. But if Jack Smith's report contradicts that, if there is evidence Patel knew files were being withheld improperly, if there are documents showing he helped Trump cover up Epstein connections, then Patel's testimony to Congress becomes perjury and his denials become obstruction. Then there are the FBI purges. Patel took over as FBI director and immediately started firing people, career agents, investigators, anyone Trump viewed as disloyal. Former FBI agents who were fired have filed lawsuits, employment lawsuits, whistleblower lawsuits, and in those lawsuits they have included sworn statements saying Patel privately admitted certain firings violated FBI policies, that he knew some actions were probably illegal, that he knew he could get sued, but he did them anyway because the White House wanted it done because Trump ordered it. Patel, loyal to the end, followed those orders even knowing they were illegal. Those statements, those admissions are now in court documents under oath on the record. If prosecutors want to use them, if they decide to charge Patel with abuse of power, those statements become evidence. Evidence that Patel knew what he was doing was wrong, that he violated the law intentionally, and that he did it to serve Trump, not to serve justice, not to protect the country, but to serve Trump personally. That is the kind of evidence that gets people convicted because it shows intent. It shows knowledge. It shows a deliberate choice to break the law. Juries do not forgive that. Here is where all of this comes together. Kash Patel is at the center of every major Trump scandal, classified documents, Epstein files, January 6th pardons, FBI purges, all of it. And in each case, there is evidence he knew more than he is saying, that he did things he knew were illegal, that he helped Trump build false defenses. Now, with immunity testimony sealed in Jack Smith's report, with sworn statements from fired FBI agents, with Senate Democrats demanding access to everything, Patel's exposure is massive. He is not just a witness anymore. He is a target. If prosecutors decide to act, if they use his immunity testimony to charge Trump, if they use the sworn statements to charge Patel, both of them are facing prison. The path is clear. Jack Smith already concluded there was proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump committed crimes in the classified documents case. He said the evidence was sufficient to convict. The only reason Trump was not prosecuted, the only reason he is not in prison right now is because he became president again. DOJ policy will not allow prosecution of a sitting president, but that policy does not protect Patel. Patel is not the president. Patel is just the FBI director. If there is evidence he lied under oath, if there is proof he obstructed justice, if there are documents showing he violated the law, he can be charged right now today. And if he gets charged, if he faces prosecution, he becomes the weak link, the insider who can flip, the person who knows everything and has every incentive to tell the truth to save himself. That is Trump's nightmare, because if Patel flips, if he decides to cooperate fully in exchange for a deal, he can testify to everything. What Trump told him about the classified documents, what Trump ordered him to do with the Epstein files, what Trump directed regarding the FBI purges, all of it. That testimony, combined with Jack Smith's evidence, combined with the documents and recordings and witness statements, becomes overwhelming. It becomes a case Trump cannot defend, and it leads straight to conviction, whether through impeachment if Democrats take Congress or through criminal prosecution once Trump is out of office. Either way, Patel's testimony is the key. And if he is facing prison himself, if his only way out is cooperation, he is going to talk. When he talks, Trump is done. Senate Democrats know this. That is why they are demanding access to Jack Smith's report. That is why they are asking specifically about Patel's testimony. They know it is damaging. They know it contradicts Trump's defenses. And they know that if they can make it public, if they can show voters what Patel admitted under immunity, it destroys Trump's credibility. It proves he has been lying, and it gives Democrats the ammunition they need for impeachment if they take Congress, or for criminal referrals if they do not. Either way, Patel's dark secrets, the things he admitted under oath, are the path to Trump's downfall and to Patel's own prison sentence. Let me walk you through the key things you need to understand about this situation, because it is not just about one person facing legal trouble. It is about the insider whose testimony could take down Trump and himself and everyone else involved in these scandals. First, Patel took the Fifth and then got immunity. That is significant. When someone invokes the Fifth Amendment before a grand jury, it means answering questions could incriminate them. When prosecutors respond by giving immunity, it means they need that person's testimony to build a case against someone bigger. In this case, Trump. Patel's immunity is not protection. It is compulsion. Prosecutors forced him to testify. Whatever he said is documented. It is in Jack Smith's report. And it is damaging enough that Senate Democrats are demanding access to it because they know it contradicts Patel's public claims about declassification. Contradictions under oath become perjury. Perjury leads to prison. Second, Senate Democrats say Smith's report contains damaging evidence about Patel. Schiff and Durbin formally requested Volume 2 of the Classified Documents report, the part about Patel. They said it contains evidence about his truthfulness, trustworthiness, and regard for the protection of classified information. That is not asking for routine background information. That is saying we think Patel lied. We think there is proof, and we want it made public. If that evidence shows Patel gave conflicting testimony, one story to the media, another to the grand jury, another to Congress, then he is facing serious criminal exposure. Lying to federal investigators, lying to Congress, lying under oath, those are all crimes. They all lead to prison. Third, Patel publicly claimed Trump declassified documents, but his immunity testimony may contradict that. Patel has been Trump's main defender on the classified documents case. He said publicly that Trump declassified whole sets of materials, that it was all legal, that Trump had the authority. Prosecutors believed that story was false. They wanted Patel under oath, under immunity, forced to tell the truth. If his immunity testimony says Trump never actually followed formal declassification procedures, if Patel admitted the whole defense was fabricated, then Trump's case collapses. The defense is gone. Jack Smith's evidence, which already proved crimes beyond a reasonable doubt, gets even stronger because now you have Trump's own man admitting it is all false. Fourth, there are sworn statements where Patel admitted to illegal conduct. Former FBI agents who were fired during Patel's purges have filed lawsuits. In those lawsuits, they have included statements saying Patel privately admitted certain actions violated FBI policies, that he knew some firings were probably illegal, that he knew he could get sued, but he did them anyway because the White House wanted it done because Trump ordered it. Patel followed. Those admissions are under oath. They are in court documents. If prosecutors want to use them, if they decide to charge Patel with abuse of power or obstruction, those statements become evidence. Evidence that proves intent, proves knowledge, proves deliberate lawbreaking. Fifth, Patel is at the center of every major Trump scandal. Classified documents, Epstein files, January 6th, FBI purges. He is involved in all of it. In each case, there is evidence he knew more than he is admitting, that he did things he knew were wrong, that he helped Trump cover up crimes. All of that evidence is piling up. Immunity testimony, sworn statements, Senate demands for sealed reports, congressional testimony under oath, all of it pointing toward the same conclusion. Patel broke the law. Patel lied. Patel is going to prison unless he cooperates. Sixth, Patel is not protected like Trump is. Trump is the president. DOJ policy says you cannot prosecute a sitting president. Trump is shielded for now, but Patel is just the FBI director. He is not protected by that policy. He can be charged today, right now. If there is evidence he committed crimes, if prosecutors decide to act, Patel is facing indictment. Once he is indicted, once he is facing prison time, his loyalty to Trump disappears. Nobody goes to prison to protect someone else, especially when that someone else is shielded from prosecution while you are taking the fall. Patel's only rational move is to cooperate, to tell prosecutors everything in exchange for a lighter sentence. If he does that, Trump is finished. Seventh, this creates a classic prosecutorial squeeze. Prosecutors use lower-level people to get to higher-level targets. That is how it works. You charge the insider, you threaten them with prison, you offer a deal, cooperate, and we will reduce your sentence. Do not cooperate, and you are going away for years. Patel is the perfect target for that squeeze. He knows everything. He was involved in everything. He is facing serious criminal exposure. Prosecutors can threaten him with perjury charges, obstruction charges, abuse of power charges, all of it. Then they can say, or you can cooperate. Tell us what Trump ordered. Tell us what you knew. Tell us what really happened. We will recommend leniency. Patel, facing that choice, is going to talk. Going to prison to protect Trump is not worth it. Not when Trump is not going to prison himself. Not when Trump is protected by presidential immunity while Patel takes the fall. Eighth, if Patel's immunity testimony becomes public, it destroys Trump's defense. Right now, Trump's classified documents defense is that he declassified everything, that it was legal, that he had the authority. If Patel's testimony says that is false, if he admitted under oath that Trump never followed declassification procedures, then Trump's defense is gone. Prosecutors can use Patel's words to prove Trump was lying, to prove the documents were still classified, to prove Trump committed crimes. Trump cannot defend against that because it is his own man, his handpicked FBI director, testifying under immunity that the whole defense was made up. That is devastating. That is case over. Ninth, the path to prison is clear for both of them. Jack Smith already concluded there was proof beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump committed crimes. The evidence was sufficient to convict. The only thing stopping prosecution was DOJ policy. Once Trump is out of office, once that protection is gone, prosecutors can reopen the case. They can use Patel's immunity testimony. They can use all of Smith's evidence. They can charge Trump. At the same time, they can charge Patel for lying, for obstruction, for abuse of power. Both of them are facing prison unless Patel cooperates first and gives prosecutors everything they need to convict Trump. If he does that, Trump goes to prison and Patel gets a reduced sentence. That is the path. That is how this ends. 10th, Senate Democrats are building the impeachment case now. By demanding access to Smith's report, by highlighting Patel's testimony, by making his contradictions public, they are laying the groundwork. If Democrats take Congress in the midterms, they will use all of this. They will call Patel to testify. They will demand the sealed portions of Smith's report. They will show the public what Patel admitted under immunity. They will use it to impeach Trump. Trump's own FBI director testified he was lying about declassification. Trump's own insider admitted to illegal conduct. This is not partisan attacks. This is Trump's people confessing under oath. That makes impeachment overwhelming, makes conviction possible, and makes removal inevitable. Here is where we are right now. Kash Patel admitted dark secrets under oath. He testified under immunity about Trump's classified documents. He made statements admitting to illegal conduct in FBI firings. All of that testimony, all of those admissions are sitting in sealed reports and court documents waiting. Senate Democrats are demanding access. They are saying the public needs to know what Patel confessed to, what he admitted, and what evidence exists proving he and Trump broke the law. If that evidence becomes public, if those dark secrets come out, both Patel and Trump are facing prison. Patel knows this. He has to know this. That is why his confirmation hearings were so difficult. That is why he is fighting so hard to keep the Jack Smith report sealed. He knows what is in there. He knows what he admitted. He knows that if it becomes public, if prosecutors decide to act, he is done. He is facing indictment, facing trial, facing prison. His only way out, his only hope, is to cooperate, to give prosecutors everything they need to convict Trump and save himself. That is the path. That is the road to prison for Patel, for Trump, for everyone involved in these scandals. The evidence exists. The testimony is documented. The crimes are proven. The only thing delaying justice, the only thing preventing prosecution is political protection, Trump's presidency, Republican control of Congress. But once those protections disappear, once Democrats take power or Trump leaves office, the evidence gets used. The cases get reopened. Kash Patel's dark secrets, the things he admitted under immunity, become the foundation for criminal convictions for both of them. There is nothing they can do to stop it. The admissions are already made. The evidence is already there. The path to prison is already cleared.